Hello students, greetings. So we have seen the two videos about phenomenology, the introduction of phenomenology, phenomenology criticism, and we have seen there are various types also, right? Now, in the previous lectures, I have mentioned about different terms of phenomenology, that is intentionality, intuition, evidence, noesis, and noema, empathy and intersubjectivity, life world. Okay, let's see a brief definitions or brief explanation of these terms. Though these terms probably you may not need these terms detailed analysis or detailed definitions, but you should understand these terms to understand Edmund Husserl or Roman Ingarden. Okay, let's see the first term, intentionality. You can see here the picture, intentionality, right? Um, the idea, mind, mind's eye, directly aware of, represents, causes. So, what is intentionality? There is always an idea or mental content that we are directly aware of. Intentionality is a relation between the mind and an inner object. So, veridicality and experience is veridical when the idea we immediately experience corresponds to an external object. Probably, when you see the definition, you might be confused, but when you understand the meaning of the term, it would be easy for you to understand the whole thing. What is intention? Intentionality, right? Well, just I will explain. Intentionality, actually, it is to the notion that consciousness is always the consciousness of something. So, if I say something, immediately you can relate that object in your mind. So, for example, if I say a tree in the picture, you can see tree. You might have, imagine a kind of tree. You can, see the same, same kind of tree. Or probably when I say tree, you can see a tree outside. You can imagine the same tree in your mind too. So corresponding idea, right? So here intention does not mean its ordinary meaning. It refers to consciousness that is stretching out. When I say something, it is not that ordinary meaning. When I say the idea, so I said about tree is an object. So immediately, when I say something, idea, concept, then immediately you have to think about it consciously. That is intention. So it's not something ordinary. You have to be very conscious about it. Thus, here it refers to consciousness stretching out toward its object. So, consciousness occurs simultaneity of a conscious act and its object. So, it is aboutness. So, intentionality is aboutness. The object of consciousness need not be a physical object, it can just as well be a fantasy or memory. So, when I say a concept, it is not necessarily you have to see the same object physically, right? It can be a imagery or it can be a fantasy character, right? That's what dinosaurs, right? We have seen dinosaurs in the picture. We do not. So when I say dinosaurs, you can imagine the picture, that means the movie which you have seen, right? So this is the thing. So intentionality is something you have to be very conscious. It's not an ordinary meaning, right? So the structures of consciousness are perception, memory, fantasy. So it is related to all these terms. So when I say dinosaurs, you have to Imagine the dinosaurs which you have seen in the movie, which means that if your memory power is so strong, you can relate that, imaginary creature immediately, right? That concept. Probably you might have seen the Jurassic Park 1, 2, various kinds of dinosaurs they have showed, right? So anything you can imagine, any kind of thing, and from part 1 or part 2, right? So for your imagination, it is a must. You have to have good memory power. Okay, this is the term intentionality mean. The next term is intuition, right? Probably you can see the term, the picture here. You may get some kind of idea seeing this picture. It is so nebulous, right? The researchers also presented their survey respondents with a list of some of the more common ways of defining intuition. So, we cannot actually define what is intuition. Sometimes we may say that, my intuition says something will happen. Or sometimes we say that there is no sort of, any kind of for a rain. We don't see any kind of sign for raining, but we say that my intuition says today uh, we may get rain, right? We cannot explain why and who and what and where. Something in our mind says that something will happen today, or something will happen to someone. This is the judgment based on uh, some kind of observable and explicit reasoning process. We cannot say that because of this 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, or some kind of things happen today, because of that this happened today. No, right? This is not made on the basis of some kind of observable and explicit reasoning process. No, for intuition, we have no explanation, means reasoning explanation, kind of concept or thing which happened within ourselves, right? That is intuition. The next term is evidence. So on the whole, Husserl employed the term evidence to refer to a rather definite kind of experience. In this meaning, evidence refers to the presence of something in itself, that is the givenness of something in itself or of the thinghood itself. So evidence, it's a proof, right? uh, Something, if we say, right, we need to prove what we say is right or wrong. That is the thingness or givenness of something, that is evidence. The next term is noesis and noema. So you can see here that all the term, the basic phenomenological concept, that intentionality, noesis, and noema, that phenomena, that is appearance, the horizon here. So it's like a torchlight. So here noesis the light and noema the lit, means the lit, light and lit phenomena. For appearing, we can see here the one which we can feel, right? That is the thing. That is the phenomena is intentionality, right? Consciousness. Here we can define the term noesis and noema. Noesis means to comprehend, and noema means the meaning of an act, right? So if we explain this term noesis and noema in little bit in detail, the noesis root is the Greek verb of nosen, so which means to comprehend, right? Edmund Husserl considers noesis as meaning given stratum of experience. Meaning given stratum of experience. So, noema is taken from the Greek word of nous. This term is applied for referring to mind and intellect. It is not only, referring to something else, it is referring to mind and intellect. So, noema is a meaning of act, where noesis is considered to be a meaning giving part of an act. Right? Meaning of an act and meaning giving part of an act. This is the definition of these two terms. Noesis is the act of thinking and ruminating, right? Noema is considered as belonging to thinking and thoughts. So, Edmund Husserl argues that there will be no noematic moment without noematic moment to which it specifically belongs, right? Noesis gives meaning to intentional act, and noema is the meaning which is given to intentional act. Okay, if something happened, right? Noesis gives meaning to intentional act, and noema is the meaning which is given to intentional act. The act gives some kind of meaning, that is noesis, right? Meaning to that act is something. So when you see a play, a drama, or a scene, you get something from that play, right? What we see, we get the story, something like that. That is noesis, intentional act. Noema is the meaning which is given to intentional act, some kind of feelings, all those things enacted on the show. That is noema. Okay, this is the thing which you have to. What you get from that act and what is given to that act. That is, the two different terminology together. So, noema and noesis are always in relation with each other. We cannot separate these two terms, right? So, Husserl has not expressed his meaning about the concept of noema clearly. Noema in the book Ideas is one of the fundamental concepts. In his book Ideas, this is one of the fundamental concepts. Okay, the next term is 1 minute. Empathy and intersubjectivity. So, what is empathy and what is intersubjectivity? So, empathy and intersubjectivity are something which interrelate. Okay, what is intersubjectivity? Empathy, first, well, let's define what is empathy. Empathy is the experience of one's body to another. Experience of one's body to another. So, when we identify others with their physical bodies, this kind of phenomenology requires that we focus on the subjectivity of the other as well as our intersubjective engagement with them. So it is the physical body. How do we see people? How do you differentiate yourself from others? The physical body, right? That is empathy. Intersubjectivity is like two separate conscious things. So when somebody is saying explanation or lying about something, that is, that person is conscious about two things. One, he knows the truth, he is very conscious, and because of that consciousness, he wants to hide the truth, so he is telling lies. So, two things, two separate things, and both needs consciousness, right? So, if the person is already aware of the truth, the person wants to hide the truth. For that, that person lies. So, that person is conscious about two things, two separate conscious mind. That is intersubjectivity. And then life world. Life world is the meaning of German word Lebenswelt. It is the world each one of us lives in, the conscious world which we are living. So we may call it background or horizon or experience. So we call this world as, when we talk about life, we talk about our experience. It is nothing but experience. It is nothing but experience of our life. So when we say life, it's all about experience. So life world is both personal and intersubjective, right? Personal and intersubjective. So intersubjective is something that when we talk about our experience, we know that what to share and what not to share. So we are aware of our consciousness, and we are aware of what to share with others. So intersubjective life world. Experience life world is both personal. Now what we want to say is intersubjective, and what we know is personal. Now inside us we know who we are, that is personal, and outside we depict someone, or we depict our own reality to some people, and we hide some of our good things or bad things to others. That is intersubjective. Okay, so these are the terms used by Edmund Husserl, right, uh, to explain phenomenology. So when you want to understand phenomenology, you need to understand at least, you have to have a basic idea about these terms. What is intentionality? What is intuition? What is evidence? What is noesis and noema? What is empathy? And what is intersubjectivity? And what is life world? You may have, you may be asked for 2 or 3 more questions. Define intentionality or define as a noema. You have to give a basic definition. The notes which I will share, you may get a basic definition of these terms, and if possible, you can find some of the examples of these terms in internet, and you can also add those things. Thank you. Let's see the types of phenomenology in our next video. Probably we may need a realist phenomenology, transcendental phenomenology, and existentialist phenomenology. Only brief definition of these terms to understand better Roman in Garden. Okay. Thank you guys. See you in the next video.